We're 10 friends from Vancouver who wanted to keep our community together, but couldn't afford homeownership in the city. This is the story of how we bought a 4-acre property in Gibsons, BC, and are turning it into a 10-lot community with gardens, communal areas, and room for our growing families. And it's a story of how Vancity helped make it all possible. This is Building Together.
Yeah, welcome to our property.
This is our lot, number 2.
We renovated the house. That was a big undertaking.
In the next year, we expect to have approval for a subdivision application, and we'll be getting into construction.
So in developing this project and trying to do it in a sustainable or low impact way, we were really mindful of how water moves on the land, how animals move on the land.
How we've done a lot of the renovations, most of the stuff we got from the Restore, which is not new fixtures, not new flooring. For myself, one of the biggest drivers to be able to own is to be able to put in things like solar so that hopefully the home I build will be a net generator of electricity rather than a consumer.
We're keeping as many trees as possible on the property. The ones that we do have to fall, we're using for construction and heating. We're managing and reusing as much water as possible on site. This will happen through a drainage system that collects water into a catchment pool. Our hope is to be able to implement systems that reuse grey water and rainwater. And we are really motivated to design our homes to use as little water as possible. We've also really limited the size of the homes that we will be constructing to keep our footprint minimal.
So we've been working really hard with our engineering team to figure out how do we build houses and how do we build community here without impacting that landscape. One of the big things when developing land is how do you treat the wastewater on site. So we engaged Ron Hine, who is a registered on-site wastewater practitioner. His attitude around development is the same as ours, which is how can we have the least impact with our design?
Yeah, normally I don't do developments, but this one, it was not a normal development. It was about a sustainable approach on a piece of property that was still very much original with the trees and shrubs. This one was to be very carefully thought out in every respect, where the homes might be, the land use, gardens and other features, keeping as much of the vegetation that is native to the site in place.
We wanted to find a way to be able to maintain the existing trees on the property. We wanted to do it in a way where we were really focused on community, and the community that's bigger than just a group of people, the community that includes all of the critters that make this place their home.
What we can do with wastewater management, if carefully thought through, can be beneficial.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be destructive. It doesn't have to be an eyesore. And yet it fits into the natural realm of what everybody wants in this property. It is so uncharacteristic of what developments are about. It is really about the hope of what we could make them to be. Instead of the exception, I think we can start looking at it as, let's try to make it more the norm.
So I hope our kind of journey through this can help inspire, other folks to be able to engage in projects like this.
If people can point to ours and say that's more or less what we want to do, and we think it's possible, that's a massive positive legacy.
The group is hopeful that our application will be approved and will start construction of utilities, the road, and our houses. But these things will require more money. We're exploring the next stages of financing the project with Vancity to continue making progress.
I think finance plays an absolutely huge role in community and community development. I think that access to money and access to funds to be able to start these types of projects is a major challenge.
Yeah, I think people should think about where they bank because money matters, and if you want to have impact, then that's a way to have it, and you have an opportunity there to be able to speak with the money that you have at your bank and where you do your banking.
I hope that when you come back and visit us in a few years, you bear witness to this community in the way that it thrives.
You would see a lot of small homes along the back here, a lot of forest remaining, homes scattered in the forest, a lot of garden space, and a lot of things growing.
Yeah, that's my project. That's what I'm really excited about. I can't wait to start building our house. I've got so many ideas. Because it's a house that we're designing and building ourselves, we can make it right for us. So
You'll end up seeing probably some big shiny solar panels.
Cute kids running around the forest with no shoes on.
Potlucks, we envision our kid
being connected to all of our friends here on the property, having other kids to play with, climbing in the trees.
Long term, we hope that the property feels like an open and safe space, with beautiful small homes and big trees. People of all ages engaging with one another.
I think we definitely took a creative approach in splitting costs between 10 people. And that just, made it 10 times easier.
A thing that in the end I appreciate about the challenges of housing in Vancouver is it has prompted us to build a creative, constructive solution. So I, in the end, like the outcome, although in many ways the reality was quite frustrating. And it's been a lot of effort to build a creative solution.
Yeah, I think we've done really well. Maybe partly luck, maybe partly because of who we are and the bonds that we already had.
A lot of people would have given up in this project, and we haven't, and that's a testament to the group. The collaboration, there's always somebody who's willing to step up to take something on. There's always people willing to work together and figure out all the nuts and bolts. And then the creativity, we've had to take pivots and shift our vision to make this a reality, but we're always kind of willing to see how can we make it work.
A community, a place to grow our skills and our families together, to witness one another's lives. Community is where you live, but it's also so much more.